Thank you so much for visiting etcanada.com. I'm Rick Campanelli. Enjoy the following uncut interview.
Congratulations on the movie, you guys.
Thank you.
It was really great. I mean, I don't know where to start really, but I think one of the things that you said in Venice was this guy is catapulting with his career with the likes of, I think you said, Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp.
Yeah, you know, I mention it because people had an impression of them earlier in their career, and those actors have changed so dramatically because they're willing to do things they don't know how to do. And Zac knew this part so well in terms of family, small town, his ambitions growing up, but there were parts of the film and the character that he didn't know. And I think that any great artist knows and doesn't know at the same time, and you feel that tension in the character and in his scenes with Dennis, and I think he really delivered something that no one's expecting from him.
And is that sort of what's drawing you now to some of these newer characters we're seeing you in? I mean, they're ones that we wouldn't necessarily think that you would go for.
Yeah, well, as I get older, I think the material is changing. And these parts are very, very interesting. This type of film, you know, the type of filmmaker that Ramin is very new to me. He makes films that ask important questions. There's a purpose to the filmmaking that I hadn't really explored before, and yeah, so it's uncharted territory for me, and in that way I'm a little bit scared of it. But usually, if I'm scared of something, that means go for it.
That means it's a good thing in life in general, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you got involved with racing these cars, I mean, you could use a stunt double. So how much of this did you actually do, and what was the training like for you if you did do this?
You know, we didn't have too many resources at hand making this film, other than a couple very, very trusting, fantastic people that let us use their cars and stuff like that. So there was no way to do it but just to jump in the car and start
When you
racing.
say we, like you drove the car?
I drove the car.
Wow. And you're becoming a professional at love scenes. Just saying. Not doing a bad job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Which then brings up the silo.
Yeah.
And you're laughing, and I'm wondering, that had to have been a challenge, perhaps, or not at all, Zac.
Those scenes, you know, it's sort of, I think a lot of that has to do with the actor's relationship.
Right.
And Heather was so lovely.
Yes.
It was very natural for us. I don't know how else. Wasn't it?
I tried not to get too involved in that.
He
scene.
was.
You didn't come sit right beside like you did in the car?
I think the weirdest position was him filming it, because he's got to interject and say, change. Yeah, exactly. He was so sensitive.
It's like, Zac, it's just a movie. Don't go so far.
Yeah. Well, and I was just, no. I mean, that's a tricky place to be intimate, I would think.
It wasn't hard with the other.
But you know, it's
Oh, well then, okay.
It's a tough scene actually, because there is some passion involved, but for Zac's character at that moment, there's something dark about it.
Yeah, there is.
Which makes it such a crazy scene, and the location is so bizarre because Heather and Zac are in a massive grain bin, and there's corn up to their knees.
Yeah.
You know, no one has seen a scene like that in film ever.
You're almost hesitant to call it a love scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's intense. Though.
Well, I would imagine you've had some love scenes with some pretty amazing women, and now whoever you have the next love scene, they must be intimidated, because, I mean, you've had some. That sounded awful. You've had some pretty amazing women. That's not what I mean, but you've been with like yeah.
I like to think that I make them comfortable in that.
You're good at what you do.
Yeah, maybe.
No, wait, I want to know what this meant.
I know. Well, I didn't know what to do with myself there, so I just started doing this, and yeah.
I'm also interested in who's ready to feel the wrath of Zac in the next film in terms of the darker places his character goes in terms of violence and.
Would you want to do that? Would you want to go to darker places?
Yeah, I would. I would. Yeah. You know, that is. I think that's the next step. That's always the next phase. I never know where this is all taking me, but you know, I try and search for the things that I know are going to be a challenge. That I have a lot of questions about. I don't have the answers to, and that is, that's a new place for me to go.